Hello and what is up, gamers? I am Beaversrock, and before I get into this video, I just want to give a little background on my history with Yu-Gi-Oh! So, I've been a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since GX. I didn't actually get into the game until Master Duel released back in 2022, and I did get cards back then, but I was overseas, and I was also like 7 years old, so I wasn't able to actually do anything with the cards other than play with myself, because I didn't know anyone else that actually had any Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I knew someone that had Pokemon cards, but not Yu-Gi-Oh. I did, however, come out with a deep love with Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's Wheelie Breakers for the Wii. That game was my shit. I played that game constantly. I loved it. After getting into Master Duel, I did attempt going to a locals a couple times because I have real life friends that actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! And so we just all went together. I never really had a good deck to go with, however, since I had just gotten into the game. I did buy cards online. I was using Beaversrock, whom I love very much, but if you know anything about Beaversrock, they're not that great. For the most part, though, I just played paper with friends. The couple of locals I did end up going to, I think I managed to get 2 or 3 wins in total. It's kind of hazy, it happened years ago. But I think I just went once or twice with Beaversrock, and then Gate Guardian with the new Gate Guardian stuff that had just come out. And after that, I kind of just stopped because I don't really like playing in paper too much, or maybe I just don't like going outside. It's probably that second one. So I don't know how you would all qualify me as, but I would like to consider myself as a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player, and I feel like casuals' opinions of the game aren't normally voiced or seen, so that's what tempted me to make this video. Now, from the title, you might have some ideas of your own as to what my issue is with Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll just tell you straight up, it's hand traps. I despise hand traps at a fundamental level, but I do understand why they are necessary. The cards that are being made and played are powerful, leading the players to play the cards that might stop those powerful cards from being used. It's also why things like floodgates are used, but that's a separate conversation for perhaps another time. I probably wouldn't have such an issue with hand traps if I just followed the crowd and slammed in 15 to 19 hand traps into my deck, but I find that, how to say, really lame. The highest I'll go is 12, personally, but if I can find a way to use less, I definitely will, because I just don't like using them. Now, I thought to myself for a moment before making this video, it can't be that bad, can it? Surely there can't be so many people using more than 12. Because I feel like 12 is just that's the limit, right? It is that bad. It is that bad. I went to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck and looked at tournament tops. Top 16 specifically for the most recent stuff. So I was looking at Blue Eyes, Malice, Ryziel, and Mitsurugi. And a lot of it, they were using 15 minimum. That is nearly 40% of the minimum deck size. That's only hand traps and not including things like Crossout, Called by, Triple Tactics, and whatever other non-engine card they may have. I don't know about you, but I think that's bad. With the rise of hand traps, there has been an increase in deck size. Not too much, since I guess people like having as close to the minimum as possible. It reduces variance or something. I don't know, man. Out of all the decks that I looked at, with all of them being somewhere within the top 16, like I said, 2 of them had 40 card decks. I looked at 16, which, not a very big sample size. So, it's me while I'm editing. I just wanted to clarify or like give some more info. I did look at more decks outside of the 4 archetypes I did look at. Still within the top 16 of the respective tournaments that they went to. It seems like the decks I looked at had a higher, not chance, you know what I mean, like there was a higher chance that those decks had more than 40 cards, but there were some other decks that seemed to be fine running 40 cards, like what was it? I have some of them opening. Crystron had a lot of stuff that was 40 cards, and Memento did as well. But like I looked at White Forest as well, and then I looked at more deck lists for the ones I already looked at, and it seems like depending on the archetype, then the size of the deck changes for what players find good. So it's a problem with the top decks. But out of those 16, you know, like you could probably extrapolate, just like assume the rest of the deck sizes. So 2 of them had 40 card decks, 7 had 41 cards, 4 had 42 cards, 1 had 43, 45, and 48 cards. Now, I'm certainly not smart enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! To identify if this size increase is a bad thing. It's not much, like I said, but it is noticeable if you look at it. Why? Because the players find it necessary for some reason.
I don't want my opponent to finish their combo so I can play.
I need to do this to have a chance.
I hate fun.
You want to know what I find fun about this silly card game? Deck building. Building decks. I'm no good at it if you ask my friends, but I'd say I'm alright. I have a couple decks that are just, you know, for fun decks. Like this level 1 Axis deck I made to prove that Zeus alone can win games. This was made back during Master Duel's starting time. It doesn't anymore. And this question mark deck I made to have a suitable home for wave motion cannon. Let's not forget Better Numeronius, which was not better in the slightest at summoning Numeronius Numeronia. This is the kind of for fun stuff I get up to. But I also have better decks that actually function, like Goblin Reactor. Thanks to the Matereactor cards finally coming to Master Duel, I could make this. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Best Deck 59. My Resurrectic deck, which I am still trying to perfect, but it is still usable to some extent. 3B Pantaloons, which is my Mutant Punk deck, which might not need the mutants anymore, but I do like them, so they stay, and there is something to be had there. I bring this up because the increasing number of hand traps in decks means deck building is less varied. It's always the same ones rearing their ugly text on my screen, whispering into the ears of duelists to use them. And they do! They fill up almost a majority of their deck just like that. I'm sure there is thought put into the choices these people make in making their decks. But it really feels like all of these players are just compelled to put these cards into their decks with no thought. Like they've been brainwashed by some evil figure hiding in the shadows. Like Konami is just telling them, like,
Use Ghost Stoker. Use Ash Blossom. Use these new Dominus cards. Yes!
And I think something should be done about it. Probably not by the players, although, guys, if everyone just decided to start playing less hand traps, that'd be nice. But this is probably just on the ban list makers banning the cards that are the problems, and the card designers not making the card equivalent of nuclear fucking missiles. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say on the matter. I'm sure I could dredge up more thoughts on this if I really wanted to, but I wanted to make this a short video, and I also just... Man. Agree or disagree with me? Comment down below. Let's be civil about it. We can all be civil about our agreements or disagreements. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want. And I shall see you next time I make a video.